As we all know, Lebanon has gone through a number of issues, structural, economic downfall, COVID, the port blast since 2019. And the focus has always been to look at how our programming and how our mandate and how our energy and collective intelligence could be at the best service of the people of Lebanon through supporting the existing national structures and enhancing the governance accountability to its population. The situation is not easy, and then recently with events unfolding very, very rapidly, then we had to immediately be active and look at what are the added value and what is UNDP offering and doing at this critical point in time. The first and foremost for me as a rep of the office has been the staff safety and security. As we are speaking, we have colleagues that have been displaced, we have colleagues that have been relocated, we have extended families that have been heavily impacted, and as of duty of care that has been my and my office's and office leadership's priority. The second part was, as we say in a crisis response, put your own mask before helping the others, has been to look at the landscape and ramping and supporting immediately the national crisis emergency of the government. UNDP's immediate crisis response has focused on supporting the activation of the crisis management room at the Sarai, also at the subnational level under the leadership of the Union of Municipalities and the governorates, to be operational the first day of the response to the affected population. Through the DRM, the Disaster Risk Management Unit, that UNDP has supported for years, oiling, if I may put it, the whole system towards supporting the shelter establishment, the shelter coordination, information flow, data, access to information for the affected population, and putting the maximum efforts towards effective intergovernmental response. And I'm very proud of the team for working 24 hours and putting dashboards, information systems, coordination system, information flows to enable and support the effective response and put the government in the lead towards its own population. As we were seeing some slight progress and stabilization in the country, now we are faced with 1.2 million people affected and displaced, and this is a number of population groups that exist within Lebanon because it's not a monolith society. We have refugees, we have also a huge number of internal displaced people. We have more than 2,000 people already that are recorded casualties and a number that is really growing very fast of injured. What is striking to me, and this is something that together with the other UN sister agencies under the leadership of Humanitarian Coordinator, is the call for respecting the international humanitarian law. The humanitarian service providers, the humanitarian agencies, the humanitarian workers are not a target and should not be a target of this conflict. And lots of people are losing their lives as they are serving the people in need in a huge humanitarian crisis that is being unfolded and getting worse by the hour. What is important to keep in mind is that within the 1.2 million affected and displaced, there are 4 layers of complexity within it. There are populations that are already sitting in a very conflict-heavy areas, and they are stranded within their communities, and they are basically not moving except from their household, but they are not leaving their communities. There are others that are seeking shelter in the collective shelters that are agreed and designed and functioning under the overall lead of the government. There are informal other shelters where people are residing, as well as a lot of people being hosted by the community's extended families. Therefore, we need to be very mindful that the big solidarity that is demonstrated across the country is also balanced with huge support to the displaced, but also to the ones that are hosting them in their community. UNDP has put a plan in place within the first 48 hours of the crisis. We put a immediate response package, and then we are also developing early recovery packaging for the day after. Again, we don't know yet the extent and the duration of the unfolding conflict. We are hoping that the situation will get to resolve soon, and then the political track negotiations will prevail. However, from the immediate response perspective, we have worked very hard to put the national authorities in the coordination seat and in the leadership seat through supporting the DRM unit and the crisis operations room, as I mentioned, in the central and subnational levels. The second part has been the putting forward a stabilization package. And by stabilization, what UNDP means and the other partners is that we are working towards extending basic service delivery of and infrastructure of institutions at the local level, being it on the waste management, being it on accessing energy, so supporting the local authorities to provide and to increase access of a population to the public service delivery. This would increase the level of confidence and the readiness and response of the duty bearers versus their right holders, in this case, the affected population. The second part has been also the focusing on the mine action work by supporting with risk education, especially with regards to UXOs, as well as coordinating with all partners for the day after as the first prerequisite for any support in terms of recovery that needs to be taking place. All the work around rubble removal, about agricultural and land use requires that those areas that have been heavily bombarded to be cleared and to be safe for the people to return. What is important also that UNDP is looking at the conflict-sensitive programming and tension monitoring. This is an important tool that we have developed over years and have now made it and put it at the disposal of all the partners, because we need, as the aid comes in the country, gets delivered and reaches the affected population, it's important to look at the dynamics as people are displaced that are fueled either by the conditions of displacement or by other structural causes, and therefore this is very important that the aid is conflict sensitive and the aid is as transparent and contributes to the country's unity and social cohesion of the Lebanese people. UNDP, as the other UN agencies, have embraced and adhered to the principle of stay and deliver. The true character of our mandate comes to bear when we serve the people that we are here for. And this is one of the most critical times where we need to stay, deliver, and be of added value to the affected communities. UNDP has made a decision in close cooperation with the government and the donors to continue its operational program where it's possible and where access is still feasible. We need to be mindful and hopeful that these people will go very soon back to their houses, to their land, to their homes, and UNDP is there to look into what are the best recovery and rehabilitation efforts and the partners that we need to rally to make it happen and to alleviate as much as possible the suffering of the people that has been on the run for the past weeks. The people of Lebanon, first and foremost, at this critical time, need a message of hope, need a message of unity, and a message of solidarity. So as UNDP, we are here, we are staying in the country, we are delivering, and we will do our best to support whatever is needed at any level is needed. The flash appeal that was launched at about 426 million is one of the humanitarian instruments to mobilize rapid funding and resources towards a common, cleared, transparent objectives, as well as to address immediate relief needs of the affected population. As UNDP, I invite every partner to contribute through that flash appeal. It is the platform that is very organized, accountable, and we are all responsible for full transparency. At the same time, I also encourage any other support, being it bilateral or at the multilateral level, to, alongside the appeal, support the stabilization efforts and to ensure that the government structures at all levels are in the lead of this response, while coordinating all the humanitarian partners, local, central, subnational level, and international level, to make the best use of that support. At the same time, I also call for a strong transparency and a strong accountability towards the entire aid coordination, because that would increase the confidence and the trust of the affected people towards the international community. We don't see it, and I can speak also on behalf of my team, as a tragic moment for us as international or national public servants. Actually, we are very privileged to be in the position of delivering on what we know best in the most of difficult circumstances. So that is not about a job, what we are doing. It's about a mission, and it's about a cause. So we are people, once you join the UN, you join because you believe in what we do. And this is something that is not only on my side, but the entire team. We are very united, we are very together, and colleagues actually have gone through tremendous challenges over the years, and still the spirit of that approach and the spirit of that courage, the spirit of that privilege that we have to serve the people in the worst case scenario that we are living in is there. So actually I didn't need to do much. We were all on the same page, and the message of staying and delivering has been embraced by everyone around. And we have organized ourselves very well, very fast. We are working on multiple fronts, and we are doing it with a lot of enthusiasm, and because we are driven. We are people that are driven by a mission. So we are not taking it as a job at the moment. We are taking it as a privilege.